Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you about the penny. It's only worth 1 cent here in the United States. It's our lowest form of currency. Can't get much for it, can't buy really anything with it. Often found in wishing wells and fountains, and if dropped on the ground, most people don't even bother to go pick it up because it's just not worth much. But if someone were to steal it from you, if someone were to take it without you knowing, and then even more lied about it, how would you feel? Probably hurt, violated, offended. But it's just a penny, right? Because the act of stealing and the act of lying is much greater than what this penny really stands for. See, those things, stealing and lying and so forth, those are what the Bible calls sins. And the Bible does not take sin very lightly. In fact, it says that the punishment for sin is death. Now, often that refers to a spiritual death, but it can certainly mean a physical death as well. See, sin has consequences, and some are short-term, some are long-term, some are both. But they do have consequences. And I think a lot of people view sin very lightly because there are things that God tells us to do that we don't want to do. And then there's things that he says not to do that we want to do. And for a lot of people, they go, well, I don't want someone dictating my life. I don't want someone or something telling me what I can and cannot do. And so I'm just going to go and do whatever I want, with whatever I want, with whomever I want to do it with. And as long as you're not going to get caught by the police and thrown in jail, you have freedoms to go and do those things. And then there's another group of people who view sin very, very strictly and to the point where it becomes very legalistic of you can't do this and you can do that and you better not do that. And it's very, very strict. And what I think both of these aspects are missing is this relationship aspect. See, those who don't want to be told don't have a relationship with the one who is giving these rules or these laws, if you will. And for those who are very strict with it, right, there's no relationship with that. And rules without relationships are just meant and desired to be broken, right? Because you have no reason to do them. And so there's this kind of the middle of the road area where we do need to take sin very seriously, again, because there's dire consequences to them. But we also need to have a relationship with it. And I think a lot of people get stuck in this Old Testament before Jesus idea of the 10 Commandments and you do this, you don't do that, you do this, you do that, and your life is set up as these set of rules and laws that you can follow and that you can't do. And if you break one of them, and then it's just chaos. And I don't think that's how we're supposed to live as believers. We need to be very aware of our actions. We need to be very aware of our thoughts and desires. The Bible tells us in the book of James that our desires will grow, if not watched, they will grow into sin, and then sin leads into death. And something very simple, even like stealing a penny, may not be a big deal, right? It's just a penny. But if you understand that you can steal a penny and get away with it, what are you going to try next? And what are you going to try next after that? But the point of this is about our relationship and having grace and mercy when we do mess up. See, we don't live under what we call the law anymore. We don't live under that 10 Commandments. We don't live under these sacred washings and prayers and feasts and all these things that we had to do back in the Old Testament. See, in Romans, it talks about, in Romans 3, there's this great discourse that Paul gives on faith and grace and mercy and law and all sorts of good stuff. It's just rich, so full of good stuff. But in Romans 3:21, he says, "But now a righteousness from God apart from law has been made known, to which the law and the prophets testify. This righteousness from God comes through faith in Jesus Christ to all who believe." And when we, as believers or non-believers, when we think that we have to follow a set of rules when there's no relationship, of course we're going to desire to break that. There's no meaning. Why am I doing this? And I think, to me, one of the things that I've learned as I've gotten older and have transitioned from this idea of what I can and cannot do to where I am today, in John chapter 10, Jesus is giving a speech, and it's very wonderful. But then he talks about the thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. And one of the things that I've learned is that God's rules, God's laws, and breaking them is not about doing right and wrong. It's more that God desires us to have an abundant life. He created us. He knows us. He knows our wants. He knows our needs. He knows our desires. He knows our dreams. He knows all these things. What he wants is for us to have an abundant life. And when we stray from his path, when we stray from his rules or laws or whatever you want to call them, when we stray from that, we lose some of that abundant life that he wants us to have, right? When we sin, we hurt and damage relationships. And no one enjoys that. No one can say that they have a full and abundant life when they have a broken relationship with someone. And that's what sin does. It just deteriorates relationships. What he wants us to have is an abundant, fulfilling, rich life. And the only way we can really attain that is having a really true, meaningful relationship with him. And from that, the cup overflows to ourselves and to those around us. And so stealing a penny, it's a cent. I don't care about a cent. But what I do care about is why someone felt the need to steal from me. Now that relationship is broken. And that is what sin does. It breaks relationships. And so I encourage you today, if you're watching this, if you feel like you have broken relationships, the wonderful thing about Jesus and God and these new rules and things that we hear about in the New Testament is that there's grace, there's forgiveness, there's mercy, there's love there. These rules are not just given so that you do right or wrong. It's so that you may enjoy life. Now, we may not see it all the time. We may not think they are there. But rules are set up to protect us. And rules are there so that we may enjoy the things that are given to us. So next time you see a penny, I want you to think about your relationships, your actions, and ultimately the forgiveness that we have through Jesus when we do things that we're not supposed to do. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please put them down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.